Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth. As you can see, we are out in the park. I'm talking kind of low because I didn't notice when I got here. There's a gentleman sitting behind me working on a laptop. And it's really weird that he's working on a laptop because supposedly my local park has Wi-Fi. I have yet to ever see it. And it's been years since they said they have Wi-Fi. Anyways, we're here for our May wrap up. I have to say, I don't know what happened in May. I was a little sick, and then everyone in my house got sick. But I don't know, I only read 3 books. Sorry, like on my book bag. I only read 3 books. So it wasn't my best reading month, and I kind of feel that I'm getting into a slump. I don't know, I have a lot on my mind. School is also ending, so I know that being home with my kids, more responsibility is gonna land on me and not so much on my mother-in-law, which is fine. That's the way it should be. She does help me out throughout the school year so that my husband and I can go to work. But now that I have to be watching 2 littles, a 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old, my reading might take a nosedive, but hopefully not. Anyways, so the first book that at least I finished in March, because I started it in May, that I finished in May was The Storyteller by Jodi Picoult. This book is a reread. She's kind of big, but it's not really. It's about the Holocaust. So we have Sage. She's a baker. She had an accident where like half her face is disfigured and scarred. So she doesn't like to be around people because she feels that that's all people notice, her scar. And she feels guilty kind of about the way she got the scar. As you read the book, you find out how she got the scar and why she feels guilty. But anyways, one day she's supposed to like close up the bakery or something, but she meets this little old man. I forgot his name. Joseph. That's right, Joseph. He's a little old man. He goes in with a dog, and he asks her for help with one thing, and it is to help him end his life. He's literally like in his 90s. But as she starts talking to Joseph and as they start forming a friendship, she realized that he was an SS officer in the concentration camps, specifically at Auschwitz. Here's the thing. She is of Jewish descent. Her grandmother was an Auschwitz survivor. So that's kind of where it goes. So she hears Joseph's story. She hears her grandmother's side of things, and then she contacts like the FBI, who take her to like the Department of Justice, where they kind of like try to put the SS officers on trial. And then she meets, God bless, I forgot the name. It's been a month. I forgot his name. Leo, that's what it is, Leo. She meets Leo, and he kind of like helps her be able to try to incriminate Joseph. My mental health kind of went down from this because this was like was it the 4th one? I think this was the 4th World War II era book that I read. It was like the 3rd one about the Holocaust, because I did read All the Light You Cannot See, and while that one does take place in World War II, it really has nothing to do with the Holocaust. But this one, as a mom, because the first time I read it when it came out back in like 2013, 2014. I wasn't a mom, so it hit a little different. It was sad because of the things that the Jewish people went through, and the things that what happened to the kids. And it's not so much the adults. I don't know if you get it. It's not so much the adults, but it's what happens to the kids that affects me. So anyways, her grandmother's name is Minka. She had, I believe it was an older sister who had a son. And the mom, knowing everything that was going on in Poland at the time, the grandmother of the baby, was sad that he was a boy. And I get it, because she's like, if it would have been a girl, we would have been able to gift the girl, to a family to take her. But it's a boy, and he's not circumcised. Remember, Jewish people, they didn't circumcise. I don't know if they still do, but they didn't circumcise their boys. So she's like, the fact that he's a boy and not circumcised, they're going to know that he's Jewish, and it's going to be worse. So it's just the story of what happened with that baby and it's sad to know that it happened in the book, but it did happen in real life. The way these mothers spared their children from what was going to happen to them anyways. And it's just, I can't imagine ever having to go through that with my kids. And I can't imagine ever having to do that to my kids, to kind of like spare their life in a way. So it hit different as a mom. there was a romance subplot, and I found it kind of weird because the way Leo and Sage met was they met through the phone, obviously, because she called and he's the one that picked up. But he fell in love with her voice, and he's like, oh, I have to go see her, I have to go meet her because she's got this voice. That's kind of weird. Like, somebody could have a nice voice, I get it, but it's like, I don't know, that part was a little weird. So I ended up giving it a 4-star. I don't remember, like, back in the day, I didn't really used to rate books like that. Like I said, it is a reread. It took me about 10 years to reread it because I don't like rereading books too often because then I feel that I'm gonna get bored. But I do recommend. You do have to be in the correct headspace because, like I said, it does take place during World War II, directly during the Holocaust, and what you see from or like what you read that happens during the Holocaust, it can be triggering. Like I said, it was kind of triggering to me. Sorry, it sounded like there was a bug or like an animal near me. Anyways, the next book that I read was Finally Mine by Lucy Score. This is a small town romance. I believe I gave this one a 4-star as well, but this is a small town romance where you have, no, not this one, hold on, this is the second one. But you know what? We can talk about them together. So I read Pretend You're Mine first, and then Finally Mine. Now I'll explain why the covers actually match. So this is the first one. In this one, we meet Harper and Luke. Harper defends a woman, from a guy who's literally beating her up. And we find out that that woman's name is Gloria. She's in an abusive relationship, and that night she decided to leave the abusive relationship. Then you have Luke, who's part of the small town of Benevolence. He finds Harper kind of like on the floor after she was hit by the big guy. I forgot his name. And it doesn't say it on the back of the books, but I don't remember anyways what the guy, Glenn. That was his name, Glenn, the abuser. His name was Glenn. You know, while he's being arrested or whatever, Luke is the one that picks Harper off the floor, and he kind of asks, you know, what are you doing here? I know that you're new here, like I've never seen you here. And that's kind of like how their relationship starts. Luke has a sister, Sophie, that she's like, oh, you know, she's really beat up. Like, she needs to go see a doctor, but it's late at night, you know, so they take her to like the family, like a doctor that kind of practices at home. And she was kind enough to say, she's like, oh, you know, thank God it's just, you know, bruises. Nothing is broken, but, you know, she should rest. So Harper was on her way to go to a friend's house, but she left everything behind. So she literally ran out of her house in a hurry. She left everything. So she ended up going the wrong direction. So she ends up in Benevolence, and then Sophie suggests that since she really has nowhere to go, she stays at Luke's place because Luke has the space for her to be able to stay. So their relationship starts developing. After everyone wants Luke to get into a relationship, you know, because they feel he's going to benefit from it, it's explained why in the book. So then they're like, okay, well, we're going to pretend that we're dating for 1 month, because after 1 month, he's going to get deployed to like Iraq or Afghanistan for 6 months. And he's like, oh, this is only going to work for 1 month. But at the end, it was so sweet. That part actually got me tearing up. At the end, he just texted her saying, stay. And she ended up staying the whole 6 months. So during the whole 6 months of deployment, she's making his house their home because she feels that it's going to work out between them. But then she discovers one of Luke's secrets. And I'm not going to tell you what that secret is because I don't want to spoil anything. But anyways, she comes to terms with what that secret is. And when Luke comes back, he realizes, oh boy, she knows, sorry, I had a hiccup. She knows my secret. If I don't hiccup like that once a day, it's not normal for me. Anyways, I have somebody else like coming by. I don't know why, because there's no trash near me. Anyways, so then he realized, oh boy, she knows my secret, and he blows everything out of proportion. Like, I cannot love you the way that you want me to love you because of this. And then honestly, it's kind of stupid. Everyone told him he was being an idiot about it. But at the end, they get their happily ever after. So that's Pretend You're Mine. I believe I gave this one a 4-star because the spice was like immediately as well. And I kind of like, I don't mind the spice, but I do like a little bit of a build-up. They got together within like that first month that they were pretend dating. Anyway, so then the second one is called Finally Mine. Now I'll show you why the covers match. So this one, it takes place at the same time as this one. So it's the same timeline. The girl that Harper rescued in this one is named Gloria, and that's her story. So in this story, you have Gloria who's leaving Glenn, which was her abuser. Look at this. This book is all beat up on the corner and I don't know why. Who is her abuser. And, you know, that's how she meets Harper. And then when Gloria goes back to her mom's place, and obviously because she left her abuser, she starts remembering that she liked a guy from high school named Aldo, which happens to be Luke's best friend. Luke from this book, the first one, his best friend. So it's kind of like their story. That one, I don't know, I think I gave it a 4-star because I liked seeing like how their story developed, because Aldo was always in love with Gloria. He just felt that he was too late to the game because Glenn showed an interest in her first and she showed an interest in him back. But anyways, he gets deployed to Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever with Luke because they're best friends. They get deployed together. Unlike Luke, Aldo gets hurt and he has to come back. And it's just like the way that Gloria kind of like gets him out of his head because he feels that he can't love her and protect her because due to his injury. And she's like, dude, I survived an abusive relationship that I was in for 10 years. You know, you were more than enough. And it's kind of like they helped each other to get out of their headspace. Because she was always like, people in this town are always going to see me as poor little Gloria, the abused one, the one who was in this relationship. And she wanted to like get rid of that stigma for her. She wanted to be known for the Gloria that she was today, the woman that she was becoming with all the skills that she was developing. You know, she helped plan the 4th of July and all that stuff, you know. So she didn't want people to take pity on her. She wanted people to see her for what she was after the abusive relationship ended. But I just felt that some scenes were like, oh, okay, now we know what's gonna happen. This still needs to happen. This still needs to happen. The epilogue for the first one, Pretend You're Mine, was Luke and Harper's happily ever after. I was kind of hoping that the epilogue for Finally Mine, Gloria and Aldo's story would be their happily ever after. But it wasn't. It was literally Luke's and Harper's happily ever after. So it's like I read their happily ever after twice. Well, not so much because the epilogue kind of goes a little bit beyond what happened after the happily ever after. But it's like, that's not what I wanted for an epilogue. It's like, yes, I knew that Luke and Harper were going to have their happily ever after. But I wanted to know how Gloria and Aldo were going to get kind of their happily ever after Luke and Harper got theirs. I don't know if I'm making any sense. If you've read the books, you would know what I mean. But I kind of wanted more from Gloria and Aldo's happily ever after than I got. But I guess like it is what it is, I guess. And then now I have it in my car because I'm on my way to work, but I am reading the third one, and that's why the third one has nothing to do. I'll put the third one up here. That's why the third one has nothing to do, like the book covers, with these, because it is a completely different story. I mean, it does take place within Benevolence because it's the same small town, but it's with the fire chief Lincoln Reed and a flight doctor. But I will get more into that for our June wrap-up. Either way, I'm so sorry that this wrap-up is a bit on the shorter side, but like I said, I only read 3 books this month, and then 2 of them were kind of like at the same timeline. I don't know if you should tandem read them, because I would have to try to read them tandem reading to see like how it works, to see if maybe it's better to do the first 2 like that. But either way, they weren't bad books. No 5 stars this month, but that is okay. I did have a good time reading them. It was nice to revisit an old book that I really did like, and it was nice to get to know. I dropped something that I have to go pick up. It's a cover for my camera, and it's nice to visit a new town and fall in love with new characters. Can't say I am liking the third book a lot better though. So either way, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.